Oh, yeah.
What's going on,
Hello.
McNaulty? We were just talking about you.
Oh, awful.
Well, we were talking about like the change in tides, the 2 counties, responsibilities, what that's gonna mean.
Well, my main question is considering, you know, you talked about wanting the LSPD be your legacy. What are you expecting from myself then as a lieutenant of shift 2?
To follow chain of command.
Okay, that's easy.
Yep.
I consider that already done. Anything else?
Good shit. Oh, that's it.
That's it.
No, I'm serious. Look, I screamed at someone yesterday about that very matter. Inherently, the mayor's office is a representation of the county government, right? And so we're going to be
may
setting.
I smoke in here?
Yeah, absolutely. So inherently, like when we're setting policy, right? You know, we are going to be seeing the chief of police as being the interface to the mayor's office, and they would take that policy and enact it in the best way that they see, right? Okay. So I wouldn't want to be calling like the lieutenant and being like, McNaulty wasn't like, like that. That's unfair to you guys. Mm-hmm. It would be unfair to the chief of police. Mm-hmm. And it would really point at a system that's not functioning. So,
okay. Okay, I will say following chain of command is easy, but I did just tell the undersheriff he can suck my balls.
As you can. They're a different department.
Yeah. Well, he's still technically my superior.
Well, for now.
For now.
Well, so I'm gonna put it this way, right? And don't walk away from this thinking anything has been decided. There's a lot of gray area, right? And I don't know how things are gonna look in the next week or so. And I'm gonna kind of expand on what that means. The big elephant in the room is there a UPD? Will there continue to be a UPD? What is the intent by the feds? I don't have an answer for that. But let me kind of give you a scenario, and I'd like to hear your thoughts on this.
Of course, go away.
2 counties, we're going to have split budgets. You're going to be paid from our office. They're going to be paid from their office. There's going to be civilian jobs that build revenue here. There's civilian jobs that build revenue there. If you get a drug bust here, the state gets that money. No, not the state. Sorry. The county,
the PD budget,
gets the money. Yeah. So
okay, that 100% makes sense.
So, like for example, Vagos, you catch them doing drugs, $250,000. Like the crime started here, you chase them wherever it is your money to take in, right? It is your county's money to take in. That money goes in the budget. That fundamentally allows us to, offer services, give, allows us to do more things here, right? You see where I'm going with this?
Yeah, 100%. So that's always a double-edged sword, right?
Yeah.
So that sort of system gives officers more of a like, okay, going for bigger charges, with the right amount of evidence, right? You get bigger charges that helps the PD budget and allows the PD to get potential access for more things, right? Let it be cars, new uniforms, new sub departments, allows for that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
The double-edged sword of that is anybody that's processed from that point forward is going to be like, what the fuck, the only reason you're giving me this, let's say it's a first-degree speeding ticket and not letting me go is because it affects your bottom line. It affects your budget.
1,000%. And I agree with that. And that I don't like the quota system. I don't want anything like it.
No. I'm not saying the quota system. That will ignoring the quota system. And let's just say it goes straight to the budget. We are paid a set amount. Let's say it's.
Can I add a bit of clarity before we? So that $250,000 would go to the county, not to the PD.
Yeah, sorry. You mean like the actual county's budget, like Blaine County, or do you mean the actual?
I don't know if you know this, McNaulty. Every fine that the PD brings in generates revenue.
I did not know that.
Yep. Wait. Did the previous man not explain that? That's probably why he did the quota system.
I just do my job.
Yeah, no, and that's fair. But like, I think you as a member of the public and the PD,
Yeah, of course.
I think it's that level of transparency is like important. But I do agree with your thing, right? Like, I would not want an extreme where people are gaming the charges, and I
will say to counter my own point with the marshal system being there. And I will say the marshal system, I believe, is bringing a bit of friction, but that's
we need to attack Sandy.
That's
You see the announcement?
No, it's so funny. It's so funny you say that, because I was like, is that the mayor of Blaine County auctioning tickets in Los Santos?
Oh, Lord.
Well, the thing is, Blaine County isn't safe. The peepee's out there, so.
I will say.
We are actually working on refugee tents for.
She wasn't kidding about those events.
I will say that kind of system might work better if you have a department solely built on PD accountability. Because all right, let's say someone's unhappy that a charge was pushed on them, and even if it sticks, they can be like, I'm unhappy with this bullshit. I feel like this cop is only pressing these charges to get a buck out of me for his department or the state budget or whatever. At least with the marshals there, they can go to the marshals and have the grievances heard, have it looked into, and they'll may or may not get the result they like.
Yeah,
at least there's that cushion between that side of the sword.
Yes, I agree with you. And the reason I kind of like putting this on the table, right, is I certainly have no direct interest to do anything where like it's tongue in cheek with if Andy wants to tell Legion Square, let it do it. I fully want the BCSO and the LSPD to work together, but there's gonna as toolings come into play, there will be a natural fiscal divide and natural legislative divide that is going to pit departments and counties against each other, and the ideal will be that they resolve those sort of things in a professional manner, as professional as a manner as possible.
Yes.
I like to think in some level of extremes, because if you don't, then when the time comes, or anything even like 80% of that extreme comes, you need to have some sort of mental plan in place, right? And so, like, an example would be, you've been working a case down here, right? You catch someone selling drugs, you bump into now all of a sudden you got $250,000 of coke in the back of a vehicle. You get in that chase, and it's a Blaine County sheriff that throws him in cuffs. And they say, you know what? Fuck you, McNaulty. This is ours. Right? That, based on the direction I foresee things going, as a direct impact on you and other members of the LSPD, and a direct effect on every co-driver, et cetera, et cetera.
The thing is, per legislation, it's wherever the original incident occurs where whoever's legislation dictates what happens.
You are 1,000% correct, but just as things get written, people,
Well, no offense, but if any cop's going to try press past the legislation, I'll shut that shit down.
Good.
And that goes vice versa.
That's what I'm fucking talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, no, if the legislation is there, I as a representative of the government enforce it.
That's a good answer, and that's where I was kind of going with it. Fuck. Why did we talk about like how things are like, So I'm excited to see where things go. You know what I mean?
Me too.
I don't.
Someone who's poured a lot of fucking time and effort into the LSPD. As someone who's very LSPD forward, such as yourself, I'm pretty excited to see what you're trying to do. And if there's one thing I wanted to reiterate about our talk a while ago, is any kind of change you're willing to enact, if it's for the betterment of the people and the LSPD, then you have my support.
I appreciate that.
As long as it's for the benefit of both.
Yes, it is for the people. It is not for one gang. It is not for the PD. It is for the whole. And It's gonna piss people off sometimes. I had a guy come in here. We're talking about dispensaries and shit, and his eyes lit up, and I'm like, "This is not for you, motherfucker. You're a fucking multi-time felon. You can suck my dick."
What?
And that's gonna happen from time to time. In the same vein, there's gonna be things that
yes,
y'all are gonna want to really want, and I know it's not gonna be good.
I understand that.
Yeah.
That's why I said I want to reiterate. As long as you believe it's for the betterment, like if it, let's say it's something purely enacted for the LSPD, if you believe it's for the betterment of us, then I will always give it a chance.
Yep.
I'd be a pretty shitty leader if I didn't.
Yeah.
One thing I wanted to bring up from a trespassing event that just happened.
Mhm.
I know there's commercial buildings and residential buildings within Los Santos.
Yep.
I just had a trespassing charge I just pushed on someone, and the owner of the building claimed it was their home, and that they sleep there.
For the commercial building?
Yes, it's a Strawberry Ave one.
No, the law went away. There was a case law that was enacted prior to the wipe, in which a tow driver towed a vehicle off of Sherry's business, and the conclusion was that they could tow those vehicles unless that private property said private property, or there was signage, like freshly written signage. I don't know if that relates.
I don't think you're understanding where I'm coming from. My point is, why do we have people living in buildings that are
They shouldn't.
that are supposed to be for like the commercial gain of that individual?
Oh no. Well, yeah. Just like you've said, you shouldn't. Do you want the full story, or?
I mean, if the answer is it shouldn't, then I'm just gonna go talk to the owner and be like, "You gotta straighten this the fuck out."
Well, okay. I think when Eve says it shouldn't, it's not legislatively, unfortunately.
Yes, I get that. That's why I want to go down there and be like, "Hey, before you get in more trouble than me, is that something
we want to make it that you have to have a business license to operate business out of commercial properties, and no commercial property should be used for anything else. Unfortunately, when commercial properties got released, it was a bit too late to tie those two in. When I asked for it, Max, said it's going to happen, and then it never happened. However, when we do write up the business approvals and the Chamber of Commerce, we'll make sure to add that in, that you shouldn't be using your commercial property as such.
Yeah.
To help with situations like these.
Legislation should have effectively been in order 6 months ago, and now it's like a matter of people have already purchased like everything, and we can't just start evicting. Like we are considering it. We're also considering like incentives for people to swap and stuff, because I'll tell you this too, we can subsidize certain areas of business, but we can't right now because it's a fucking like restaurants and this and then this and that, and so
no, that's really all I wanted to talk about. That's kind of it, really.
Oh yeah.
I'm a straight shooter. I'm not going to sit here and yap all day.
Is there any piece of legislation that you find is currently missing that we should put on our to-do list?
I'd have to get you back on that.
No worries.
That's something I'd have to sit down, and you'd have to give me like an hour to
no worries.
do a big review.
I want you to be thinking about this, because you are an LT, you see shit. You're probably, I'm sure this stuff was like, this law sucks, or like, we really need this thing. Please do, contact Abby. She's the Attorney General for the Los Santos County.
Problem. All right, in that case, I'll let you go. You guys stay safe and out of trouble.
Whoa, we got some questions for you.
Oh shit!
Yeah. We are going to go through some names, McNaulty, and I'd like you to let me know what your thoughts are on if they had the position of Chief of Police or Assistant Chief of Police. Feel free to expand on it as much as you will. Berk Johnson.
The straight answer is, again, I don't know him too well, and from the get-go, way back when, with the whole look into Ruth shit, I personally feel that was to get into Max's good graces.
Yeah.
I
spoke to Ruth last night. That is very much
she
the
was a
case.
martyr, used, and then the second he got chief of police, threw on the flop's lap, and he's a spineless worm that did nothing. So I don't truthfully believe Barrick should be the chief of police. Don't get me wrong, I like the guy, but I don't. That has always left a really bad fucking taste in my mouth.
Yeah. I think he knows that too. So I also recognize that Ruby did probably 95% of the work. So then comes Ruby York.
I think you already know my stance on that.
Yep. Very positive.
Yep. Over the bits. I think she'd do a great job. I think she's someone that cares a shitload, and I think just has a good fucking heart, and I think she'd do a great job.
Vivian Gray.
Same thing. Really, I don't really have a bad thing to say about Viv.
Okay.
I think during a little bit of what was happening, we had a big shiesty panel. I feel like she got kind of. There's this weird thing in the PD where if you try shit on a liked cop, all of a sudden you're Joan of Arc on the fucking cross getting burnt alive.
Yeah.
And I feel like Viv does a very good job of holding just about everybody accountable, let they be liked or unliked.
Jimbo Sutton.
Did you laugh?
I think he's still laughing.
Were you giggling?
What?
Are you giggling?
Sorry, I had something in my beard. No offense to Jimbo, I think he's too much of a doofus to be the chief of police.
Why do you say that?
No, it's just he's too much of a doofus. I'm sorry.
Okay. Does he have a serious side to him?
Okay. In his defense, he has been acting a bit more serious than I think in the past 2 weeks.
Oh, okay. All right. What, did he get in trouble, or
no?
Did something change
I don't
in his
know.
life?
Maybe his high command spoke to him. I mean, he's a sergeant now, which, look, as much as personally, I'm a bit of a silly, goofy guy, but I have a switch where you lock that shit in immediately when you need to. Maybe Jimbo's been exercising a little more. Maybe his high command spoke to him. I can't speak for them, but he has, in his defense, been locking it in a little more recently.
Nakota.
I think he would. Maybe I didn't see too much of his liaison work when he was the liaison.
I can tell you right now, he did more work than the entire cabinet.
Then, okay. All right, well, then his defense, I think paperwork side, he'd probably get shit fucking done. Would he be a good face representative? I don't know how much of the community likes him, right? If you're looking for, let's use what your example would be, where you want the chief of police to stand in front of the community and be like, this officer did that. This is the reprimand. Like that face. I don't know if Dakota would make a good face. I don't know how much the community actually likes him.
For given that there was a lot of indication I got, and this is for like if it ever does come up, from me to you kind of thing. Nakota passed a shitload of legislation. Like a shitload. My understanding is anywhere from like 15 to 20 pieces in that 3-month period. But from based on my understanding from speaking to other officers, a lot of people didn't know what happened. I think it was like
yeah, he was not very vocal about it. I will say. But then again, you know, communication in Los Santos is dog shit no matter where you go and who you speak to.
Very true. But to your point, like that's something a chief would need to do.
Yes, 100%.
And
I just don't know how well the community would reflect on that choice. I don't know how much it's liked by. I don't know how well he's liked. I think he'd probably do a good job. I just don't know how well.
Fuck.
He's
what other
liked.
names, chat? Forgot. Fuck. Hold on. What's my list? Oh, Anita May.
I'm gonna be honest. I don't Okay, I can't give an answer on an officer I don't work alongside of a lot.
Very fair, very fair. If you feel
I'm
like,
not, yeah, I'm not going to give an answer based on an officer I really don't.
Yep.
Ride with, speak to, converse with a lot. Even though she's another, yeah, no, I really don't speak to her all that often to give a strong enough opinion.
Very fair. Captain Turner.
What? You mean former Captain Turner?
Mm-hmm. Him, Ruth, and Aldo were here yesterday. Had a chat with him.
Ruth was here.
Yeah.
Sorry, Turner was here as well.
Yep.
Yeah, all of them.
I think Captain Turner is probably. This is gonna sound like I'm blowing smoke up his arse, but I think Captain Turner is probably one of the cornerstones of the LSPD. He helped myself set a standard at the very beginning, where I probably, back when I was first brought in here in the skeleton crew, I was probably a bit more silly and goofy than I need to be, but he was somebody that reminded me that I'm not only a representative of, the LSPD, I'm a representative of, the choices made by the government to bring me here. And I need to hold a certain standard, not only for myself, but those around me. I think he probably has the shittest, driest sense of humor.
I got it, Nino.
Yeah, you're so quick. I love it.
That I've ever seen. I've talked about the guy. I think
Even so good.
He's strict as shit. He is a no-nonsense.
Yo, let's go.
Strict officer. He's kind of like a dad with a badge that you want to impress. I'm going to be honest.
Yep. All right. Captain Ruth?
Yeah. She got dealt a really bad fucking hand. She was a martyr for something that shouldn't have happened. I think not only was she liked, there was a small group of officers that didn't like her, but that wasn't a reflection of the majority, I believe. I think she'd do a fantastic job as a chief of police. He has my vote.
Interim Captain Aldo?
He was very detective-oriented, if I recall. Great with paperwork.
Really?
Great with paperwork. I got along with him like a house on fire. But I remember when I first started working, him and I wanted to get into detective work, but I put detective work to the side because the PD needed trained officers. So I threw that to the fucking side and focused on training, and I think he leaned more towards the detective stuff.
I am really glad you mentioned that, actually. Okay.
I think he'd probably do a good job. I think he's a strict, but with a good sense of humor. I think he'd do a good job.
Okay.
But I haven't seen him in a very, very long time, obviously. So
yeah,
I don't know. Maybe he's changed in that time. But
understandable. Peach.
God no.
All right.
What's wrong with Peach? What's wrong with Peach?
I mean, respectfully, I think someone in the chief of police needs
Did
to
I
take
miss
the job
anyone?
extremely seriously.
Boost. Thank you for 10 months.
And I don't think she's a good cop, but I don't think she takes this all very seriously.
Okay.
Could you give me 2 good qualities of Peach that
Sky
she would
Faye.
make as the chief of police?
We already said Peach. We
liked
can't
by
say
officers?
Clarkson.
Okay.
That's crazy, McNulty.
Stop.
I would say positivity. She's really positive.
Yeah, good morale cop. I will say that. Yeah, 100%. There's 2. There you go.
Yeah, but I helped you with that one, so it doesn't
Yeah.
count.
She helped you. So now you gotta come up with a third one.
Civilian population likes Peach.
Yeah,
Okay.
she's Peach and what's her name? Goldie. We're encouraging to work with the office closely. They're very good.
Yeah, I like Goldie.
Yeah. They have,
I can
they have
tell-
the city in mind, like
Yeah,
they
I can
like
tell
community
I can
policing.
tell just from her personality that she cares.
Absolutely.
And I think anytime I'm on a call with her, she's got a great sense of humor as well. Good to have her on a call.
Sky
And
Faye.
I don't think I've seen Goldie. I don't think I've heard her say a mean word about just about fucking anybody. Sky Faye. She dapped me. She's probably one of the only people who's ever dapped me.
Okay.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
She will hold people accountable no matter what. Personally, I feel
good.
Personally, I feel like there's certain things where it's like, you know, have a talk with somebody. Not everything has to be a dap. It can just be
I agree.
Some form of creative punishment. But I think she will hold just about everybody accountable. Good sense of humor. Great patrol cop. Not as good as driver as me, but
okay. That's good. So I think we already kind of discussed my punish often, punish swift sort of policy. But said policy is suspend for hours, a day, 2 day, 3 day. In other words, reflective of what felons get, so that people do not get dragged through the mud for 2 weeks and build animosity inside, outside.
I'm trying to push that a little bit more. I've got a couple of people who need to be held accountable for some shit. So I'm trying to get most shit done within 24 hours.
That is beautiful. I think you know, it's good. You know, I've had some pushback, but I think I've gotten people to kind of, hey, let's try it. Generally, in the sense that like, you know, it's a notion of if you see the you know, like in the cartoons, you got the fucking safe hovering over the person's head.
Yeah, or like a big fucking piano.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of like that's over your head for 2 weeks. That's gonna demoralize the fuck out of you. You get used to getting punished, you know, it's going to be like, okay, I got it. You know, civilians says, okay, I got
that's exactly why whenever I fuck up, I go straight to superior and I go, I did this, dap me for this, move on.
Yes, absolutely.
Yep.
Is there any other questions? Oh, have you heard of how what the Japanese do? The executions?
Yeah, they like eat sushi off naked people.
No, I just saw a documentary. It's fucking crazy.
Oh.
The way they do it is they have a panel of 3 judges and 5 civilians, and they vote whether they're guilty and then whether they get the death penalty. But
Holy
then
shit.
they
Holy
have to,
fuck.
yeah, and then they put them in a room, right? It's a size of 3 bed cushions, like the single kind, you know. So it's a very small room, and they live in there, and they do not know what day they die on.
Holy shit.
Yeah, so any day. And when they do, they describe, like, they hear the footsteps, and there's a place where there's a trap door, and they do, like, you know, like the samurais that got in that position? They put them in that position with, like, a noose, right? And then 3 people go into a room, and they all press the button, and one of them drops it.
So we're bringing that here, or
no. It's nah. No, I was saying,
understand
like,
the analogy. It's like waiting for your own punishment is worse than being punished.
Yeah,
I understand.
But the wild thing about it is, it turns out that only one person made it to the death penalty in the last like 20 years, while the rest of them over the time turned out not to be guilty because of the way the system works.
Jesus.
Yeah. But anyways.
Weird.
Okay, cool. Did you guys have any questions or anything you think I may have forgotten to ask?
Not at this time. I don't.
All right, easy.
Not at this time.
All right. Well, McNulty, if you need anything from us, you know.
I have one question.
Mhm.
Just this is pure curiosity more than anything else. What's the biggest change you're bringing our way, LSPD boys?
Culture.
Culture?
Resources. Yes.
Can I get an example of what you mean by culture?
I want you guys to feel like you are empowered to enjoy yourselves on duty while being officers. Now,
90% of my job.
How I plan to get there is a mouthful, but I want to make sure you guys are getting the support. So
I'll take your word for it.
All right.
Anything else before I head out?
Nope.
Okay. Absolute pleasure. Give me a buzz if anybody needs me, right?
All right. Sounds good.
All right, thank you, McNulty.
Toodles.
Have a good day.